A deadly shooting at a Wisconsin school. What we've learned about the victims and the shooter as the investigation gets underway.
Incredible warmth, humidity, and damp weather continues here in Central Texas, but not for much longer. We'll show you when a change in the air comes in.
And Williamson County taking the next steps to create a full medical examiner's office. The location it's secured and a timeline of the building's opening.
On the final week before Christmas break, the excitement of students at a small Christian school in Wisconsin was shattered by gunfire this morning.
And police and federal agents are on the campus in Madison right now searching for how and why it happened. The same questions so many in the community are struggling with in the wake of the deadly attack. Jay Gray has the latest.
Well, what I heard was ambulance, squad car, fire engine.
First responders rushing to Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin after reports of an active shooter inside.
The protocols are simple. Stop the killing, stop the dying, find out who's doing this. And the officers did that, and they did that adamantly.
Officers quickly identifying the suspected shooter, a juvenile, dead of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. While medics rushed to the victims, we now know at least 2 are dead, several others injured. As news spreads across the community, parents scrambled to get to the K-12 campus.
And I just bolted out, drove down here, I called my husband, and he made his way over here.
Nervous families directed to a reunification center just a few blocks away. Students transferred there on city buses. Bethany Hyman's kids among the survivors.
It's the world that we live in, and but God is good, God is gracious, and my kids are safe. My family's safe.
Safe, but like this community, struggling.
The tragedy of all what the other kids have seen, the kids saw this and heard this, right before Christmas.
The season and their city likely forever changed. Jay Gray, NBC News.
First warning weather with Chief Meteorologist Nick Bannon.
If you catch it, a plane coming in there from our Austonian, this is our Southeast Austin Whittlesey Landscape Supplies weather camera. On a kind of cool beginning to your evening as we've got a blend of sun and clouds making for a nice looking sunset. Sunset officially just after 5:30 here. And I say it's cool by the view, but the air is actually pretty warm. Middle and upper 70s for many of us. There's still a few parts of our eastern counties in the 80s, and the air is still pretty sticky too. Dew points in the 60s. Anytime the air has those dew points in the 60s, you can feel the mugginess, and that is not going away for another couple of days. On clouds and radar, we are partly cloudy now. There's no rain on radar for now, but we do expect as we go into the evening, the sun sets, and we'll start seeing those drizzle chances starting to creep back in again. Not super widespread, at least at first, but you can plan on your driveway probably being wet by the time you wake up tomorrow morning as we drop out of the 70s and into the 60s here by 11. But coming up in first warning weather, we'll track the drizzle and fog for the next 2 nights. Some rounds of showers the next 2 days before things turn much cooler and drier.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. Williamson County's population is booming and leaders are looking to the future.
And we now know that will include a way to handle deaths with the county's own medical examiner's office. It will be at this location right off of Highway 183 and Lakeline Boulevard in North Austin. In October, the county purchased a facility from the Texas Department of Transportation on just over 28 acres for $18 million. Williamson County Judge Bill Gravel first shared recently on KXAN News at midday on Friday that long-term it will be the home to the future medical examiner's office.
So we have the facility, we have to revitalize that and remodel that, and we have the death investigators. So I think over time, and I mean in the next few years, you'll see a progression from where we're at today to a full medical examiner's office in Williamson County, Texas.
And just last week, the county approved more funding for 4 death investigators who will start early next month. Right now, the county's justices of the peace determine the cause and manner of death across the county. And for the last year, they have shared concerns with KXAN investigators of juggling court dockets and death inquests. So these new hires could help them with those death cases.
Justice of the Peace for Precinct 2, Judge Angela Williams, tells us today, quote, this move will ensure Williamson County will, quote, meet future needs and provide the best services for its community. You can catch up on our year-long coverage of this issue online right now and explore a hanging on Backbone Creek, that project highlighting the push for counties across the state to establish medical examiners' offices. Just look for the button on the investigative section of KXAN.com. It's a season of giving, and We Are Blood hopes you can give to the community and help keep Central Texas blood banks full. Donations often dip during the holiday season. Potential donors are just too busy with traveling and other holiday activities, but at the same time, the need for blood often spikes.
Well, actually, we are at a critical level when it comes to O-negative donations, which is the universal donor type. This month of December, we've seen extraordinary patient need, record-breaking need. It's stacking up to be the highest need December in organizational history.
We Are Blood is hosting a blood drive on Tuesday, and donors walk away with a free ticket to Alamo Drafthouse. It's at a business called Quantic Wenzel, located at 2215 Kramer Lane in Austin, and goes from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
President-elect Donald Trump is making some moves ahead of his inauguration, holding a news conference to announce a mega investment in AI. Meantime, Robert Kennedy Jr. met with senators in his quest to head the Department of Health and Human Services. As NBC's Alice Barr reports, the former Democrat and vaccine skeptic is facing questions and scrutiny ahead of confirmation hearings.
With just over a month until Inauguration Day, President-elect Trump already announcing new initiatives and priorities, appearing with SoftBank's CEO, who's pledging a $100 billion investment in U.S. artificial intelligence projects over the next 4 years.
Creating 100,000 American jobs at a minimum.
It's the latest in a string of business leaders meeting with the president-elect.
Everybody wants to be my friend.
He then took reporters' questions on everything from the war in Ukraine
Got to be a deal.
and reaching a hostage deal in Gaza before he takes office,
If these hostages aren't back home by that date, all hell's going to break out.
to defending his more controversial picks for cabinet positions, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's speaking to senators today in his bid to lead the Department of Health and Human Services. Several lawmakers have voiced concerns about RFK Jr.'s skepticism toward parts of mainstream medicine, especially his long-documented opposition to vaccines.
Our goal should be that children have to look to the history books to find that there ever was such a scourge as polio or the measles or any of these other diseases which are now openly being questioned in terms of the vaccines which help to prevent them.
I think you're going to find that Bobby is a very rational guy. You're not going to lose the polio vaccine. That's not going to happen. I saw what happened with the polio. I have friends that were very much affected by that.
The Trump transition team downplaying RFK Jr.'s controversial positions and leaning into broadly accepted areas of concern on reducing chronic illnesses and encouraging a healthy food supply. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And RFK Jr. is set to meet with more than 24 senators this week, and some of President-elect Trump's other more controversial administration picks are also due back on Capitol Hill in the coming days. Christmas came early for 200 Austin elementary school students thanks to the Austin Police Department. Officers took the children shopping at Target with $150 to spend on whatever they want. The Shop with a Cop program makes sure the children who come from families who might have trouble providing gifts get their own Merry Christmas. It's a partnership between APD and Amigos en Azul, or Friends in Blue, an organization dedicated to bridging the gap between APD and the Hispanic community.
We're not there to do them harm, but the opposite, to serve them and to make their life much better. So that's what the event is about. It's about bringing the holiday spirit to everyone and to kind of change that perception they might have of officers.
And Austin's Shop with a Cop began back in 2006, but it's not limited to Texas. Police departments across the country participate in the annual event.
It's been another busy year at the Austin Bergstrom International Airport. We have some numbers from January through October, and during that time, the airport saw over 18 million travelers. That's only about 6 million short of the record year, which was set in 2023 with 22 million travelers. In October, AUS did see its busiest day ever, 44 34,000 passengers were screened through TSA on October 21st, 2024. That spike came from the F1 weekend and the UT home game against Georgia. And 2024 is setting another record. May was the busiest month ever for AUS, with over 2 million people passing through. Our digital data reporter Christopher Adams dives deeper into the numbers and how they compare to previous years on our website at KXAN.com. Just search for AUS Data Hub.
Speaking of records, we were only 2 degrees shy of the record high today, that being 82. We got to 80. We're going to come very close to that again tomorrow. We'll show you when that cooler, drier air takes away the mugginess, the drizzle, and a little bit of rain in first warning weather.
Well, it's a week in Austin and at UT like we have never seen before.
Yes, Roger joining us now as the Longhorns get ready for Saturday's college football playoff game against Clemson.
Talk about historic.
Yeah.
When you say never seen before, I mean literally, this has never happened. Historical. The latest the Longhorns have ever played a home game, a chance to advance to the first ever 12-team college football playoff to the quarterfinals. So what we thought was the final home game against the University of Kentucky was not. They were pretty confident they'd go to the playoff, but they needed to beat Georgia to get to that first round bye and go directly to the quarterfinals. Didn't happen, but quite a consolation to get one more time back at DKR, an 8th home game.
What an awesome opportunity to host a playoff game in the inaugural 12-team playoff here at DKR Saturday at 3 o'clock against a really good Clemson team. I'm really pumped for our fans and Longhorn Nation that they get to experience this and that we get to have one more opportunity here at DKR with this team. We're going to need all their support.
Yeah, it's going to be a sellout. Should be something. They've never played each other against Clemson, but Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik from Austin, teammates with a number of Longhorns, so some great kind of storylines within the big story.
Very nice.
All right, Roger. Thanks so much. Coming up now, changes are coming to parking in part of downtown Austin, making it easier for students, but a little tougher for some who use the hike and bike trail. On weekdays from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., only Austin high school students can park along Stephen F. Austin Drive. This highlighted stretch that we're showing you is part of that reserved part for students between West Cesar Chavez and Veterans Drive. So you can still park on that stretch on weekdays outside of that time frame. On weekends and on school breaks, the public can also still park along Veterans Drive and in the lot under MOPAC. This goes into effect on January 6, 2025 when students come back from winter break.
We were in that area last night for the Trail of Lights, our KXAN Christmas party out there. Lots of fun, and it was pretty warm. I took off my jacket at one point on the trail.
And sweaty. It's like you're wearing the rain jacket because of the drizzle, and then you're just dealing with the mugginess. We've got another day and a half of that before a cold front takes away the humidity and makes things more comfortably cool around here. I want to show you this gorgeous view from our Llano County camera. With a partly cloudy sky here, still about 15 minutes away from sunset, but the sky is looking beautiful here today. And we've got so many rainbow photos from you over the weekend. KXAN, reported at KXAN.com if you've got some great photos or weather videos to share our way. So partly cloudy sky now, and we're dry for now. A couple of sprinkles just outside of our viewing area. That's actually thanks, there's even a few thunderstorms too. That's thanks to a cold front that is draped over parts of the hill country right now. Most of that front, at least over our area, is not producing rain, but just outside of our area, we are seeing that. So it's possible we could get a stray shower along that front here this evening. On top of that, we're also going to run the risk for some more drizzle and fog overnight. See what I mean about those showers in the hill country here tonight associated with that cold front? That front, by the way, is not going to move through the area tonight. It's going to stall and then try to lift a little farther north tomorrow. But as it stays nearby tonight, there's still going to be that shower chance for the hill country, even a low thunderstorm chance there as well. The rest of us will be a bit drizzly, murky, and at times foggy, with a low shower chance for just about everyone else tomorrow morning. But kind of like today, the sun comes out for the afternoon. We warm up in a big way tomorrow, with highs coming up near 80 in the afternoon, and then the low clouds and areas of drizzle fill back in overnight into Wednesday morning. I know you're not seeing the drizzle here, but we certainly expect it'll be around. And then we've got another cold front Wednesday morning. This one will move through the area with widely scattered showers and a low thunderstorm chance. There's your timeline, 9 in the morning, widely scattered showers coming through during that morning commute, pushing through our southeastern counties here by mid to late morning. There's 10 a.m. and then it clears the area by midday, allowing the sun to come out in the afternoon. That will also bring cooler, drier air to the area. Before and during that front's arrival, certainly still damp and humid. How much rain, though? Not much. Most of us less than 1/10 of an inch. We could get some localized amounts up to 1/4 of an inch if you get a thunderstorm. Right now we're at 76 in Austin. A warm night. We drop into the low 60s. We're back in the upper 70s to near 80 here tomorrow afternoon. And then that cold front knocks us back down into the 60s here Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And for those of you that don't like this humidity, there is relief in sight for that with that same cold front Wednesday morning, taking us from humid, which we will still be tomorrow, to much more comfortable here for the rest of the week. So your forecast tonight, drizzle, fog, a few showers. High or overnight lows, I should say, of 62. We're up to 79 tomorrow with drizzle and fog in the morning and even a few spotty morning showers giving way to afternoon sun. Wednesday will be breezy once that afternoon or late morning front moves through, bringing us a windy, cooler afternoon. Sunshine Thursday, 66, 64 mostly sunny Friday, low to mid 60s through the weekend, and then we're back up to 70 by Monday.
News Nation tonight. Two heavy-hitting guests, Geraldo Rivera and Stephen A. Smith, join Chris live tonight on Cuomo. Ben. Starting tonight on News Nation, a series of unexplained UFO sightings has Brian Enton and a team of experts hunting down the truth.
There's no mistaking that as a Chinese lantern, a drone.
Banfield starting tonight, 10/9 Central.
Ahead for us tonight, I speak to the new Los Angeles District Attorney about the Menendez brothers' bid for resentencing and why they could have separate outcomes. And the big news about America's national bird, or what we thought it to be, when we see you on Nightly News.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in court today to provide testimony in his long-running corruption trial. Today marks the start of his second week of testimony in the trial, which comes at the same time Israel is engaged in a war in Gaza and facing possible new threats posed by regional turmoil, including in Syria. The longtime Israeli leader now has to juggle time between the courtroom and the war room after a judge ruled he must testify 3 times a week. Netanyahu was indicted in 3 cases involving gifts from millionaire friends and for allegedly seeking regulatory favors for media tycoons in return for favorable news coverage. He denies any wrongdoing and has pleaded not guilty. Netanyahu is Israel's first sitting prime minister to be charged with the crime.
Suspected killer Luigi Mangione remains behind bars in Pennsylvania as New York City authorities fight to extradite him. He's facing a murder charge for the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Mangione hired a high-powered defense attorney, Karen Friedman Agnifilo, to represent him. She worked as a chief assistant district attorney in the Manhattan DA's office for over 7 years. So far, she has declined to comment on this case. Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg said that if Mangione waived extradition, we could see him in court as soon as tomorrow, paving the way for him to return to New York City.